Have you ever wondered if there's a way to tell if a woman has just had sex? Whether you're curious, suspicious, or just plain interested, the signs can be more obvious than you might think. Stick around because today, we are diving deep into the psychology of women and exploring the 5 key indicators that can give you some surprising insights. This video is going to reveal some of the secrets you may not have known about women's behavior, and by the end, you'll have a sharper eye for these signs that are both physical and psychological. We're going to look at subtle and not so subtle clues that might suggest a woman has recently had sex. These signs go beyond just physical changes. They are deeply rooted in her psychology and behavior. Understanding these can give you a clearer perspective on female sexuality and help you navigate relationships with a deeper understanding of the dynamics at play. We'll explore 5 specific areas: her mood, her physical appearance, body language, conversational cues, and behavior in the hours following the encounter. Before we dive in, if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. We're here to provide you with the insights that matter, helping you navigate the complex world of dating, relationships, and attraction. Your support helps us grow and reach more people who can benefit from this knowledge. Now, let's get started. Let's begin with one of the most noticeable and commonly discussed signs. Number 1, her mood is significantly different. One of the first things you might notice is a sudden change in her mood. After sex, a woman's body releases a flood of feel-good hormones like oxytocin, serotonin, and dopamine, which can leave her feeling more relaxed, happy, and content. You might notice a distinct shift in her mood. She might appear unusually cheerful, affectionate, or glowing, a stark contrast to how she may have been earlier. This surge of positivity is often referred to as a postcoital euphoria, and it can last for hours or even days, depending on the individual. On the flip side, if the experience wasn't satisfying, or if it was emotionally complicated, she might seem more distant or even irritable. These negative shifts in mood are typically linked to unresolved emotions or feelings of dissatisfaction that can accompany a less than ideal sexual experience. But there's more to this than just a simple mood swing. A study published in the Archives of Sexual Behavior found that the emotional response after sex varies widely among women, depending on the context of the encounter. For example, a woman who feels emotionally connected and satisfied might feel a deep sense of fulfillment, while someone who feels detached or unappreciated might experience a sense of disappointment or frustration. Keep in mind that mood changes can happen for many reasons. It's essential to consider the broader context of your relationship with her. Is she usually this relaxed or happy after a positive experience with you, or could there be other factors at play? For example, did she have a tough day at work, or is she just naturally introverted, and you're now noticing her opening up more than usual? Nonetheless, noticing a change in her demeanor can often be the first sign that something intimate has occurred. You might notice her being more bubbly, relaxed, or simply content in a way that is uncharacteristic for her. But again, don't rush to conclusions. Mood changes are often nuanced and multifaceted. The key is to notice shifts that seem particularly noticeable or out of the ordinary. Number 2, she's got that post-sex glow. Let's talk about the famous post-sex glow. After a sexual encounter, many women experience a noticeable physical transformation, including increased blood flow to the skin and a surge of endorphins. This can give her complexion a radiant, glowing appearance. Her cheeks might appear rosier, her skin smoother, and her overall aura more vibrant. It's often described as a healthy glow, and it's a real physiological response that comes from the increased circulation and hormonal changes that occur during sex. This isn't just some myth or exaggerated fantasy. Dermatologists and researchers agree that the rush of hormones and the increased blood flow during sex can temporarily enhance a woman's appearance, making her skin look fresher and more youthful. When you see her with a natural flush or an undeniable glow, it could very well be an indicator that she recently had sex. However, this glow alone isn't always enough to draw a conclusion. It's important to combine this visual sign with others to paint a fuller picture. After all, glowing skin could also result from other factors like skincare, diet, or even a good night's sleep. But if you combine this glow with subtle mood changes, body language shifts, or other clues, you can start to form a more accurate picture. Now, let's dive deeper into the next sign. Number 3, her body language changes. Body language speaks volumes, especially when it comes to intimate encounters. After sex, a woman's body language might become more relaxed, open, or even slightly seductive. She might sit back more comfortably, lean in closer during conversation, or display other subtle signs of physical contentment. If you've ever paid close attention to a woman's body language after an intimate moment, you've likely noticed a shift. Her posture might become more open, she may smile more often, or she may seem less guarded and more willing to engage. Non-verbal communication studies have shown that people who have had positive intimate experiences often display more open and confident body language afterward. After a satisfying sexual encounter, women, in particular, might unconsciously project this confidence and comfort through their movements and posture. This can manifest in several ways, such as touching her hair more, standing tall, or even making more eye contact. If you notice her body language shifting in this way, pay attention. It's often a sign of both physical and emotional contentment. A woman who feels secure, comfortable, and happy after a sexual encounter is more likely to exude confidence in her body language. The relaxed, open demeanor that follows sex can be a significant clue to what's just transpired. Observe how she's sitting, standing, or moving. Is she more at ease than usual? Is there a subtle yet noticeable shift in her body language, like a confident smile or a relaxed posture that she usually doesn't show? These physical indicators can offer important insights, but like the other signs, don't jump to conclusions without considering the broader context. Number 4, she drops hints in conversation. Sometimes the clues aren't in her appearance or body language, but in what she says, or more importantly, what she doesn't say. Women often drop subtle hints in conversation that point to a recent sexual experience, whether they do so intentionally or unintentionally. These can include casual mentions of how she spent her time, vague references to someone she was with, or even playful comments about feeling satisfied. For example, she might mention that she's had a really good day, or refer to a great time with someone, but leave the specifics a little vague. Maybe she drops a teasing comment, joking about how it's been a while, or something about feeling particularly relaxed and happy. If she's been with someone recently, these casual remarks could be her way of alluding to her intimate experience without directly saying it. Studies and conversational analysis show that people often allude to personal, private experiences through indirect language. This type of indirect communication serves as a way of sharing information while maintaining a level of privacy. So, listen carefully to the way she speaks. Is she being more playful or teasing than usual? Does she talk about someone new in her life or mention spending the night somewhere without elaborating too much? These subtle conversational cues might seem innocent at first, but when pieced together with other signs, they can provide a clearer picture of what's going on. Pay attention to her choice of words and tone. Sometimes the way she talks or what she leaves unsaid is as telling as what she openly discusses. Number 5, her behavior in the hours after. Finally, let's discuss her behavior in the hours following the encounter. After sex, women might engage in specific behaviors that reveal they have recently had an intimate experience. These can include touching themselves more frequently, adjusting her clothing, or taking extra time to freshen up. Research on postcoital behavior shows that many women feel a heightened awareness of their bodies after sex and might engage in behaviors aimed at maintaining a feeling of cleanliness, attractiveness, or emotional well-being. Is she suddenly paying more attention to her appearance after she's been away for a while? Does she touch her hair more often or adjust her clothes in a way that shows she's trying to feel more comfortable and confident? This heightened self-awareness is often linked to the emotional and physical release that follows a sexual encounter. For example, some women might feel the need to freshen up more than usual, either to feel more attractive or to maintain a sense of cleanliness. This behavior can be particularly noticeable in the hours immediately following the encounter. Keep an eye on how she behaves after return. Inning from a date or social event, these subtle changes in her actions could indicate a recent sexual experience. So, there you have it, 5 signs that can clue you in to whether a woman has just had sex. From changes in her mood to subtle hints in conversation, each of these signs can tell a part of the story. However, it's important to remember that these indicators are just that, indicators. They aren't foolproof, and it's essential to consider the broader context. Always respect her privacy and understand that these signs are just one piece of the puzzle. Now, let's talk about what you should do with this information. How should you react if you notice these signs? What's the best approach? Stick around because these next steps are crucial. Before we get into that, let's recap the 5 signs to watch out for. A significant change in her mood, the unmistakable post-sex glow, changes in her body language, subtle conversational cues, specific behaviors in the hours after. Each of these signs can give you valuable insights into whether a woman has recently had sex. But it's important to approach the situation with understanding and caution. Always consider the full context and don't jump to conclusions based on 1 or 2 signs. Understanding the psychology of female sexuality. To gain a more complete understanding, let's take a step back and explore the psychology of female sexuality as a whole. Women are multifaceted individuals, and their sexuality doesn't exist in isolation from their emotional and mental states. In fact, the emotional connection and the psychological aspects of intimacy can often be more important than the physical aspects themselves. For instance, during and after sex, the surge of oxytocin can create feelings of bonding and attachment, which are especially prominent in women. This is why emotional intimacy and communication can have such a profound effect on a woman's experience of sex. Women who feel emotionally connected to their partner are more likely to experience positive psychological reactions after sex. In some cases, a woman might feel distant or detached after sex due to a lack of emotional connection. This isn't necessarily a reflection of her feelings toward you, but rather a sign of emotional complexity. She might need time to process her feelings or reflect on the encounter, especially if it was casual or emotionally ambiguous. Respecting her space and being patient is essential in these situations. Understanding the psychological intricacies of female sexuality helps you to approach intimacy with a deeper sense of awareness. It's not just about noticing physical signs, but also understanding the emotional landscape that shapes her experience. This approach will not only improve your connection with her, but also enhance the quality of your interactions in the future. Recognizing emotional responses to intimacy. Let's talk about the emotional responses that can follow a sexual encounter. As mentioned, the emotional aftermath of sex can vary greatly depending on the context. For instance, if the encounter was intimate and filled with mutual respect, she might feel content, fulfilled, and emotionally attached. However, if the experience was short, disconnected, or lacked emotional engagement, she might feel indifferent, withdrawn, or even disappointed. Emotions play a massive role in sexual experiences, especially for women. Women are often more emotionally attuned to the nuances of an encounter, meaning that their emotional responses can shape how they behave in the hours and days following sex. This is why you might notice her being more affectionate, distant, or even thoughtful after the act. When navigating these emotional responses, it's important to approach her with patience. If you notice her mood shifting after intimacy, don't jump to conclusions. If she seems a bit quieter or more withdrawn, it might be because she's reflecting on the experience. If she's more affectionate or talkative, it could be a sign that she feels more connected and emotionally satisfied. Understanding her emotional state can guide how you engage with her moving forward. Are you giving her space to process her feelings, or are you creating an environment where she feels comfortable to express herself? The role of communication in relationships. This brings us to an important aspect of relationships: communication. While noticing the signs of post-sex behavior can offer valuable insights, the most important factor is clear, open, and honest communication. Whether it's after a casual hookup or a deeper, more emotional encounter, communication allows both partners to understand each other's needs and desires. For instance, if a woman seems to be giving off signs of emotional distance after sex, it could be a cue that she needs some time or space to process her feelings. Instead of assuming something is wrong, you can check in with her and ask how she's feeling. If she seems content and happy, you might want to explore what made her feel that way and continue nurturing that positive connection. Conversely, if she seems upset or distant, it might be time to discuss what happened and ensure there's mutual understanding and respect in your relationship. Communication is the key to avoiding misunderstandings and ensuring that both partners feel heard and valued. Should you ask about the signs? You might be wondering, if you notice these signs, should you directly ask her about them? The answer is nuanced. It all depends on the nature of your relationship and the comfort level you share. In some cases, it's appropriate to ask about her feelings and experiences, especially if you have an established level of trust. In other cases, it might be more respectful to allow her to share on her own time, if she chooses to. Let's say you've noticed a change in her mood or a glow about her. Instead of bluntly asking, "Did you just have sex?" you could approach the topic more thoughtfully. A simple check-in like, "Hey, you seem really happy today. Anything exciting happen?" can open the door for her to share more if she feels comfortable doing so. Remember, it's about fostering an open, respectful conversation rather than jumping to conclusions. Creating a safe space where she can express herself freely is essential in building trust and intimacy in any relationship. Understanding the importance of consent. As we delve deeper into the psychology of relationships and sexuality, it's also important to touch on the role of consent. Consent is not just a physical act, but a continuous process of mutual understanding and respect. Every intimate encounter, no matter how casual or committed, should be built on clear, enthusiastic consent. Consent means being attentive to your partner's needs and emotional state at all times. If a woman is displaying signs of emotional vulnerability or withdrawal after sex, it's your responsibility to ensure she feels supported and respected. Consent goes beyond the physical act. It's about creating a space where both individuals can feel safe, comfortable, and heard. Pay attention to the emotional and psychological cues she might be giving. Is she seeking connection after the act, or does she seem to need some space? These small details are just as important as verbal communication in creating an environment where both partners feel respected and understood. What to do? If you notice negative signs. Now, what if you notice signs that indicate discomfort or dissatisfaction? Maybe her mood has shifted dramatically, or she seems withdrawn after the encounter. It's important to approach these situations with sensitivity and care. If you notice any signs that suggest she might not have enjoyed the experience, it's important to be receptive and open to her feelings. Instead of assuming or pushing for an explanation, offer her the space to talk. Ask her how she's feeling and listen carefully to what she says. Sometimes a woman might feel uncomfortable discussing her emotions immediately after sex, and that's okay. It's crucial to respect her timing and let her share when she's ready. It's also important to recognize that dissatisfaction or negative feelings post-sex might have nothing to do with you personally. Women may sometimes experience emotional or psychological shifts after intimacy due to external factors like stress, hormonal changes, or past experiences. Being understanding and patient can help create a more supportive and caring dynamic. Building healthy, respectful relationships. Ultimately, the goal of understanding these signs and cues is to build stronger, more connected, and respectful relationships. Relationships are built on mutual trust, understanding, and clear communication. While recognizing physical and emotional signs can be useful, they should always be viewed within the larger context of your relationship and her overall emotional well-being. By being mindful of the signals women might give off after sex, you can improve your ability to connect with them emotionally, understand their needs, and support them in ways that nurture the relationship. Remember, intimacy is about more than just the act itself. It's about creating a bond, both physically and emotionally, that fosters trust and mutual respect. Conclusion. So, as we wrap up today's video, I want to leave you with a final thought. Understanding the psychological and emotional aspects of relationships is a journey, not a destination. As you pay attention to these subtle signs and learn to interpret them, remember that the most important thing in any relationship is how you treat the other person with respect, kindness, and empathy. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the psychology of women and their post-sex behavior, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video with others who might benefit from these insights. Your support means the world to us and helps us create more content that explores the complex world of attraction, relationships, and human connection. We want to hear from you. Have you noticed any of these signs before? What insights have you gained from your own experiences? Drop a comment below and let's continue this conversation. Your input is invaluable, and it helps all of us navigate the fascinating world of relationships and sexuality. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and always prioritize respect, empathy, and communication in your relationships. Thanks for being a part of the Stoic Pathways community. We'll see you in the next video.